It was another tough one-run loss for the Athletics last night. With plenty of opportunities to knock it around, the A's could not deliver, and it came back to haunt them as their rally in the ninth fell short. Tonight, they'll try to even up the series as they send their ace to the hill, Sonny Gray. The young right-hander is in the Cy Young conversation here in 2015. His ERA of 2.04 leads the American League, and Sonny will look to notch his 13th win of the season. It's Game 2, A's-Rays, and it starts right now. Saturday Night Baseball at the O.K Coliseum, and the fireworks show is coming up after the game with a Star Wars theme. So again, that's post-game, and for the game, the ace Sonny Gray takes them on, and Sonny in the conversation for the Cy Young Award, so we're looking for a good outing from Sonny Gray. Game 2 of the series, it's the Rays and the A's coming up on CSN California. Hey again, everybody, and welcome to Oakland A's Baseball. Along with Ray Fosse, I'm Glenn Kyber. A's have 39 games left, so you kind of do the math. You figure Sonny Gray, including tonight, maybe 8 more starts or so, Ray, and let's hope he finishes strong because he is a legitimate candidate for that Cy Young Award win.
You know, the way he continues to pitch, the ERA is very low, just a little bit over 2. He's won 12 games. All those things factor in to the Cy Young Award towards the end of the season, but he's been the ace for the ball club. He's pitching on no return. He pitched Monday in Baltimore, tonight, 5th day, so he is right exactly where he wants to be. Graveman will be tomorrow, but for Sonny Gray, everybody knows that he is the ace of the staff, and he wants to prove it tonight by getting the A's at least a win so far in this series.
Well, the bullpen has been a question mark all season long for the Athletics, but Sean Doolittle back from the disabled list today, so at least some good news. Now it'll be interesting to see how Sean Doolittle is used for the rest of the season. 1
appearance this year, 1 inning, he is back, and it's good to see that he is back because if his fastball is there, he can elevate it. He knows how to close. And I think that's one of the biggest things, that he stepped into the role after being a first baseman, a very good first baseman, but 22 saves last year, and he threw basically just fastballs. He has a secondary pitch, but he just rears back, tries to elevate the fastball, and when he does, it's a pitch that's really very hard to hit.
The A's lost a tough one last night, 2-1. They'll try to bounce back. Sonny Gray against Erasmo Ramirez. That is the pitching matchup for Game 2 of this series. We'll have lineups and first pitch when we come back to the Coliseum. A beautiful night for baseball, a big crowd, and a Sonny Gray start. We're looking forward to it. Stick around.
Yeah, hey, yeah, baby.
is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Get the new steak and egg breakfast burrito at Jack in the Box. It's not your basic breakfast burrito. By Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places. And by Black Bear Diner. Feed your inner bear.
Umpires getting set. So is Darth Vader. So are the Stormtroopers. So they're well protected as we get set for Game 2 of the series. It's a sunny gray start at the Coliseum. Those are always a lot of fun, as he's going to try to get the A's a win after losing last night 2-1 to the Rays. Beautiful night for baseball at the Coliseum. Game time weather presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is now open daily. 73 degrees and not a cloud in the sky, as it's an hour earlier start tonight with fireworks coming up after the game. The theme for the fireworks is Star Wars. So let's look at the lineup tonight for the Tampa Bay Rays. John Jason will lead off at DH. Grady Sizemore in right, Evan Longoria at third, James Loney's the cleanup hitter, and then Logan Forsythe hits fifth, Asdrubal Cabrera sixth, Desmond Jennings seventh, Kevin Kiermaier eighth, and Kurt Casale does the catching at bats ninth.
And Sonny Gray, his second start. The first one was last Monday in Baltimore. Of course, he missed the start in Toronto, was held back until Monday, and so he's on his normal turn tonight against the Rays, who he faced back on the 24th rematch, he and Ramirez. And during that game, James Loney had a ball back off him. He went just 5 innings, but pitched well, picked up the win as the A's ended up scoring 7 runs the game. So Sonny Gray tries to keep his ERA down, tries to get a win, and tries to even the series tonight against the Rays.
Defensively for the Athletics, Coco Crisp will be in left field, Burns in center, Reddick in right, Laurie back at third, then Simeon at short, Sogard at second, Canna at first, and Josh Fegley's your catcher. Stephen Vogt will DH tonight.
Both Derek Shelton, the hitting coach of the Rays, and Darren Bush of the A's took out the lineup cards last night. So I guess the superstitious managers decided that Ty Walters tonight for the A's, since the A's lost, Derek Shelton's back tonight. Right? So I guess they're both in that same category.
First pitch, 6:07.
So John Jaso steps in, hitting right at 300, a homer and 13 RBIs. And Jaso was hitless last night, 0 for 3. Jaso in an 0 for 13 stretch.
I asked him about his hair. He said it looks good until I look in the mirror, which is not very good. He said, I have no idea what I'm doing with it, but it does look different than what we saw when he was here.
Must be nice to have options.
Yeah. But good news for him, he has been cleared, so he can catch. I thought that his catching days were over, but Kevin Cash, his manager, said that he was cleared. He's trying to keep him away from catching as much as possible, and he has not caught any. But
backhand, Simeon, jump throw, got him. What a way to start the game. Nice backhanded play by Marcus Simeon for the first out of the ball game.
Well, you talk about a big league play. Look where he's playing, to the right of second base and all the way into the shortstop hole. Jump throw, perfect throw, getting John Jaso, who can get down the line fairly quickly. And what a great play by Marcus Simeon. Derek Jeter, retired now, would love that play, because that's the one he made very often into left field. But a perfect throw for Marcus Simeon to start the game. Wow.
Put one out for Grady Sizemore. Pitch to Sizemore, just a little bit low.
Well, considering where Jaso hit it, they were using the shift 3 to the right side, but it's close enough that Simeon could get to it, but to make the play jumping the way he did, get enough on the throw and throw it perfectly, was a great play.
Expo brought to you by Cache Creek Casino Resort. So 1-1 the count to Sizemore, who had a couple of hits in last night's game. Paul Noward is calling balls and strikes tonight. Dana DeMuth, the crew chief, is down at first base. Estabrook and Hickox. a little bit low, 2-1 count. Rays are 61 and 61. Coming into today, they are 2 back of the second wild card and 6.5 back in the division. So they're fighting an uphill battle in that division, but just 2 back in that wild card. So they will keep a close eye on what's going on with that bunched up American League wild card situation, as Sizemore has the walk.
Batting in the 3rd position.
So for the Rays, game number 123. They're 30 and 30 on the road.
Which I guess is kind of what you hope to be, playing 500 on the road, better at home. But their record right at 61 and 61. But they seem to, in September, find a way to have a great finish.
Oh, they're wrapping up a long road trip. They're 3 and 5 on this 10-game trip. They've been to Texas, to Houston, and now here to Oakland. So they've been gone for a while.
Well, at least they went to Houston and Texas at the same time.
What's that like?
I don't know.
And they're not even in the same division.
No.
I mean, the Rays are not in the division with the Astros and the Rangers. So teams do actually, when they go to play Houston, they then right after that go to play Texas or vice versa. That actually happens.
Yeah, I guess maybe because Texas is such a big state. Maybe other teams haven't figured it out. The schedule makers haven't figured it out. Look at all those ones. 11 pitches, 1 out, 1 and 1 in the first.
Murray has it. Fires to second for 1. Double play. 5-4-3 double play. That ends the top of the first. And here come the Athletics. In the bottom of the first, they will face Erasmo Ramirez. Billy Burns in the leadoff spot. Then Chris Bradicana, Vogt, Laurie, Fegley, Sogard, and Simeon.
Erasmo Ramirez once again starting against the Athletics, a team that he seems to start a lot against. And for him, it's not been a very good situation facing the Athletics. But in the rotation for Kevin Cash, making his 20th start with a record of 10-4. So good record for the right-hander, and he's got an assortment of pitches. Low 90s fastball will top it out at about 94, but also a curve, slider, and changeup.
Rays defense has Jennings, Kiermaier, and Sizemore in the outfield. Longoria, Cabrera, Forsythe, and Loney on the infield, and Kirk Casale, catcher. So same group as last night. So Erasmo Ramirez looking for his 11th win of the year. First pitch to Burns, and he drives one towards center. Kiermaier backs up. He's got it. So line drive out, 1 away in the first.
And that'll bring up Coco Chris. So maybe Erasmo Ramirez has found a home. He's kind of in and out of the rotation and up and down in the minor leagues with the Mariners.
Yeah.
They traded him right at the end of spring training. In fact, last year, Ray, he had 7 different stints with the Mariners. Up, down, up, down, up, down.
That's called options. That's because you have an option, and we can do that as many times as we want. And
7 different times.
That is hard to believe that many times. But I think Evan Scribner could think about that last year. Dan Otero this year. Jake Smolinski. So they're players who have been going up and down, but as long as they end up here, that's where it matters. This is the 22nd of August, which means rosters can be increased to 40 effective September the 1st. Clubs that are still in the postseason playoffs for the minor leagues, they will retain their players and try to figure out who is going to be joining the big league club.
It's the shadows creeping through the infield right now. Pop up foul. But Ramirez was traded from Seattle to the Rays on March 31st. So right before the season started. He's traded for Mike Montgomery, the left-hander who has pitched against the A's a couple times. Ramirez has pitched extremely well. 1-2 pitch to Coco is a little bit inside, but not by much. 2-2 the count. Ramirez is 25 years old. He's 5'11", 200 pounds, so not a real big guy. Going to roll toward first. Loney has it. Steps on the bag, 2 away.
Certain guys you do not want to hit the ball to, and Loney's one of them.
Yeah, he's good.
He is very good. Longoria good at third base. And you know, the Rays, and while they make changes throughout as far as players, personnel, that they got the corner with Loney at first now as he has established himself there. He's found a home. Longoria, of course, the face of the franchise. Will be there for a long time. As we noted last night with his contract, but they do make changes, but some are there for a long time.
Rays last year 77 and 85, so a down year. 2013 they were the second wild card. So that was 2013 was the first year of 2 wild cards.
Right.
And they had to win a whole bunch at the end of the year just to get to the second wild card, and they did.
Yeah, where they played about 4 different places to get there, and what they did, it was under Joe Madden, who is now with the Cubs.
Yeah, there was a tie for that second wild card. I think the Rays had a win on Sunday to play that tiebreaker for the wild card on Monday, and then play the wild card game on Tuesday, which they won.
Right.
And then get into the division series. So again, that was 2 years ago. Good catcher interference. So Reddick is going to reach first base. It'll be an error on Casali, and well, that's the second time in what, a week for Reddick.
Yeah. And again, look how close that is. Very close, and Reddick just straight down with his bat, and that is too close. Way too close. So again, E2, no at bat. Catcher's interference.
So a 2-out base runner. Here's Cannon. First pitch to Canna is inside.
Oh yeah, the catcher's mid, and of course the umpire knew. Josh Reddick definitely knew, as the umpire looking around, seeing the catcher pounding his right hand into his catcher's mitt.
Canna out in front, looks at foul.
Ramirez, one of the pitchers that we have seen with a good fastball at about 94, 2-4 seam fastball, but he's not going to give in a lot. He's very confident with his curveball, slider, and his changeup. We saw with the Mariners, and of course now with the Tampa Bay Rays.
Canna, 253 the average. 9 home runs, 41 RBIs. He gets jammed there, stays alive.
Well, this 3-run home run off of Ramirez, and it was a big one down in St. Petersburg. Mark Canna, one of 2 home runs hit against Ramirez. That was a breaking ball on May 24th. Sonny Gray and Ramirez went head to head, and that was a little bit later, and really that's what helped the A's decide that Sonny Gray, after 5 innings, had enough. After, James Loney hit a ball off his lower part of his body.
That one flipped down the left field line, fair. Reddick hustling for third, and they're going to wave him home. Here comes the throw to the plate. It's there. The slide got him. So a very close play at the plate. Reddick out, but not by much. So a nice relay, and the Rays executed the defense properly. And there's the out. No score after 1.
So a big strikeout for Graveman.
They forced the Rays to execute defensively, and they did, Ray. It's really that simple.
That's all it is. Jennings, of course, to Cabrera, the good throw. But it took 2 good throws. The throw almost up the line enough as the throw from Cabrera kind of cut a little bit up the line. Good play by Casale going after them back, but that's how close it was, and just barely got him. So it took 2 perfect throws, or 2 good throws. I wouldn't say they were perfect, but got it done. But, this is nothing against Stephen Vogt. But what happens in a situation like that, you're kind of expecting back-to-back 2-out hits, and that's hard to do. So you take an extra chance, hoping the throw is a little bit offline. It almost was, and Reddick a good job of running hard to Mike Gallego, giving him a chance to send him, and he did. He was out. Last night, Kiermaier looked like he was going to be sent. He was not. Speed was there, but thing that Reddick did well, he ran hard. Once he saw Mike Gallego waving him, he did not slow down going from second to third, ran hard and continued to run hard.
Sogard flips to first, and that's the first down.
Josh Reddick with 2 outs, and this is important. He sees the ball in front of him down in the corner, so he's thinking that he's going to be asked to score. And so he's running the whole way. He peeked to left field, saw Mike Gallego and continued, and there's your hook slide just around the tag. Well, it's tough to fault any third base coach in a situation like that. And try to be aggressive. You try to get a run. Came close to doing it.
First pitch to Logan Forsythe is in there for a strike. You could see Cabrera, the shortstop, as well. He didn't rush.
Right.
Looked like he knew that he had Or he knew that he didn't have to like really rush his throw to the plate, and he took enough time and made an accurate throw.
But the way the ball cut a little bit, it's almost took too much time. But I agree with you. He knew he had the time, and as a veteran, he was not going to panic. The throw took Casali a little bit to the right up the first baseline and able to catch it quickly enough to bring it back.
0-2 to Forsythe. Fastball is high from Sonny Gray. Cabrera to follow here in the top of the second inning. And this crowd still filing into the Coliseum. And that one is hit high and deep to left field. And the Rays are going to take a 1-0 lead. A long home run for Logan Forsythe, his 14th of the year. So Rays 1, A's nothing.
That swing looked exactly like Mike Trout last year. And as a result of the swing of the Mike Trout, and maybe this from the Forsythe, the curveball will kind of go away. Here's your curveball, and he just dropped the hammer, dropped the head on it, and a good swing, very similar again to that of Mike Trout, and that's why Sonny Gray has gone to the slider, and I assume that was a curveball. If it was, then good swing by Forsythe. If it was a slider, did not get down exactly where he wanted it, maybe that was the case. But in between the slider and the curveball, but regardless, Forsythe did not miss it.
So here's Cabrera. The Rays not a huge home run hitting team. They're 11th in the league in home runs. But an important one last night and an early one tonight. Cabrera rolls it foul as Drupal Cabrera, 262 with 8 home runs and 32 RBIs. Had a hit last night, 1 for 3, also walked, so he was on base a couple of times. Cabrera, switch hitter. To the right side, a nice hop for Canna, and Canna takes care of himself for out number 2 here in the second inning, and Desmond Jennings will hit.
The last start for Sonny Gray last Monday in Baltimore, it was an error with 2 outs. It resulted in a 3-run home run by Clevenger. All 3 runs unearned, but a big 3-run home run by the left-handed hitter. So for Sonny, 3 consecutive games he's given up a home run.
And he does not give up a lot of home runs. That's just his 11th.
One of them to a teammate, Danny Valencia.
That's right.
The Blue Jays at that time.
First pitch strike to Jennings. First home run of the year for Jennings. Now he has not played a lot. He's been injured this year. Just his 26th game. Curve foul back. He got a high fastball and he jumped on it last night.
And a curveball for a base hit to drive in a run, and a high fastball. Both with 2 strikes. Both devastating to the Athletics, and that probably as big as the one in the first inning or first at bat when he singled and then was caught stealing by Figler. For Boxberger, closer, who had been struggling. Looked like he was going to give it up again last night, but was able to get out of a jam in the 9th inning.
I really thought the A's were going to win this.
Yeah, I did too. I think the A's thought. I think everybody thought they were, even the pitcher.
Because he really was struggling. Strike 3 called, and that will do it for the Rays, but they get a home run from Logan Forsythe. His 14th of the year, so bottom of the second coming up. Rays 1 and the Athletics nothing. Chevron STEM Zone. It's in sections 201 and 217. Chevron created the STEM Zone to help deepen kids' interest in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. It's outside the classroom by showing its applications in the real world. Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. I wish they would have had the Chevron STEM Zone when I was a kid.
That's right.
I was a little overmatched in science, to be honest with you.
Oh, I think all of us were. That's
I don't know.
Tough subject, but learn a lot.
1-1 the count to Stephen Vogt. Vogt, Laurie, and Fegley against Erasmo Ramirez.
First game in 3 that Stephen Vogt is actually starting. The consecutive left-handers. The former Tampa Bay Ray is getting to start tonight as a DH. Said it's always special when he is playing against his former team. A lot of friends, a lot of people that helped him get to where he is right now as an all-star this year.
This one foul back again, and the count remains 1-2. Swing and a miss on a fastball, and that is the first strikeout for Ramirez. So 1 out here in the second inning.
In the sixth position, third baseman.
Interesting note here against the AL East. Some of the big hitters for the A's struggling against the East, and the team 9-22 against the East. And that's one of those sour notes, the record against the East this year. These are 2-3 against the Rays.
Back a while back, whenever he played teams more than the way they do it right now, 6-7 out of the division A's. I think one time 16-0 against the Yankees. And they just seemed like every time they played them, they found a way to win. And that was back when the Yankees weren't that good. Retired another number today, so the number 20 won't be worn. Jorge Posada.
Yeah.
Andy Pettit tomorrow, so it looks like the core 4. Rivera, Jeter, Posada, and Pettit. And the numbers all retired.
Cabrera charges. He flips it to first, and he sails it right over Loney's head. So Laurie's aboard. Well, Laurie a fast runner, but that should be an error. His good throw gets him without a problem.
Well, the good thing for the Rays was that Laurie didn't go to second because he's running hard through the bases, first base, and as a result, his hustle gets him a hit. I guess forcing him, but the ball hit off the sidewall. Probably a little hesitation by Cabrera, and hit the sidewall instead of going into the dugout or into the stands. And so Laurie, with him running through the bag, was not able to make the turn quickly enough to go to second.
Well, I wrote down error, but they ruled it a hit.
Hustle. We're unaccustomed to seeing that be given a hit.
That is not a hit. But we're glad that it is for Brett Laurie's sake. Not quite sure how that's a hit. It's the second for the A's. Fegley shoots one. Fair. Hustling over his Sizemore. And they're going to wave home Laurie. And Laurie will score. And we're tied. And Loney can't believe it was called fair. Dana DeMuth called it fair. And Loney immediately had to look like, you've got to be kidding me that you called that fair.
Now this is a true argument because it's in front of the first base umpire. And as we know, you cannot challenge, you cannot review a ball in front. Oh, went right over the corner of the bag. That's evidently what Dana Demuth saw. His ball's in front of him. Steps a little bit back. Watch the ball. And it just has to go over the bag. It landed in foul territory, but I'm sure Dana Demuth telling Kevin Cash that the ball went over part of the bag, which is all it has to do. But Brett Lawrie able to score from first in a tie game. Good break for the A's.
Batting in the 8th position, second baseman, number 28.
Laurie's off of the bag and he's looking at it, and I guess from his perspective it did not cross any part of the bag. So he's pointing foul. Dana Demuth from the A's, that's what they wanted to see, pointing fair. Well, this time a double scores a run.
So Fegley gets the RBI.
Well, that time a late swing by Fegley resulted in good things for the A's.
I think the A's caught a break. It's just my humble opinion. They will take it.
Well, there are plays that you cannot challenge. Review them, and that's one of them that was in front. And I think the question ahead in Toronto when the ball was called fair against the A's, it was the ball that was right at the feet of the third base umpire, which was in question as far as whether it's in front of him or not. But this one clearly in front of Dana Demuth, who made the call. Terry Francona was ejected in New York today on a play at second. So it's rare that there are true arguments now between managers and umpires. On a challenge, a review play, you cannot argue the decision.
And now 3-0 to Sogard. Sogard 245 with 24 RBIs. In there for a strike. Simeon will be next to run in for the A's as they have tied it here in the second. Foul back, so a full count.
Ramirez still trying to win a game against the Athletics. He has been unsuccessful in that category, but whether it's the Mariners or the Rays, A's beating him in St. Petersburg. Scored a lot of runs off it. We walked 5 in the game. It's a solo home run and a 3-run home run that is his demise.
And a walk. So 2 on, 1 out for Simeon.
Batting in the 9th position,
7 starts, 0-6 against the A's.
Marcus Simeon.
So here's Simeon, and the first pitch is a slider down and away. I think of those 7 starts, I remember him pitching 1 really good game against the A's, and Cespedes hit a home run, and I think the A's won the game 1-0 up in Seattle.
Jim Hickey might have noticed something with Ramirez, or just a little vote of confidence.
And now 2-0.
See a look on the face of Jim Hickey. You see it every pitching coach. Larry Rothschild with the Yankees, and they take it harder. You think about the number of pitchers they have to deal with. Starters and relievers. And 9th season for Jim Hickey. He always does a good job.
Heck of an effort.
Scotty.
He made the play too.
He made the play, and Cliff Clavin saying, "You got to clean your own uniform." How about this? They get it on.
That may be the play of the night.
That is the play of the night, exactly. How about this? Lay it out, Scotty. Atta boy.
Atta babe.
Man.
That was a full stretch, too.
It was.
Sizemore underneath. He's got it. Fegley will hustle to third. He'll make it. So first and third, 2 outs now. And here's our Ford right choice. May 24th of this year, Billy Burns, a leadoff home run against Erasmo Ramirez. First major league home run.
Ramirez looking. That wasn't a cheapie either. That was. Slow down, Billy. It's a home run. He actually hit 2. One from the left, one from the right. And he just happened to get one of those first pitch fastballs that nobody thought he was going to be swinging at. That was late May.
So a pitching rematch from that game. Grant Ramirez. Took a little off that time, and Burns swings through it. Burns lined out to center in the first inning. Throwing a lot of pitches. He's sitting at 38 with 2 outs here in the second inning.
Yeah, that's sitting right there. A lot of pitches. Especially just 14 in the first. Chris Archer standing next to Jim Hickey, and that's where you're supposed to pitch. 1-hit shutout against the first place team, the Astros.
Cabrera charges quickly to first, and they got it. So the A's get a run on Fegley's double. So we're headed to the third. It's the Rays 1, and it's the A's 1.
On the Seattle Mariners, you can listen to this music. It's always great. Oktoberfest style beers will be available throughout the ballpark. Fans can enjoy German-themed entertainment and food. For tickets, visit athletics.com/Oktoberfest. Oktoberfest in September.
Why not? Yeah. That young lady is dressed for the part tonight. Star Wars theme.
Well, that's what the promo said. Dress according to the night, which is Star Wars night. These guys have been protecting the umpires. They were really out early tonight.
So Kiermaier, Casali, and Jaso here in the third. It's a 1-1 game. Kevin Kiermaier had a hit last night. Looped this one foul. One hop up into the seats. You could get the R2-D2 beanie. It's another option for you. One, two, and he went around. Kiermaier tried to hold up, couldn't do it. Second strikeout for Sonny Gray.
There's your hard slider with 2 strikes, and just have to wonder about the home run hit by Forsythe. If this was supposed to be the slider that was down, but stayed up enough for him to hit it. This time, Kiermaier went too far.
It's a good note here. Percentage of strikeouts by pitch type for Sonny Gray, and not a big surprise that 60% come on sliders. He throws it hard, and it looks like a fastball right until the last minute, and it dives down. Missing Casali.
And a lot of times the hitter will look for the spin to determine whether they think it's a breaking ball. It's going to be a strike. Throws it so hard you can't see the spin, and if you do, you see it too late, because you have less than a second to decide at 60 feet 6 inches what you're going to do with the pitch that's thrown. Still hard to believe that hitters can do what they do with so little time to determine if they're going to swing or not. That's why hitters guess.
You know what? You almost have to.
That's right. You load up and you guess fastball, and you see something that's not. You hope you can stop your swing or make an adjustment.
That one's in for a strike. A fastball at 94 miles an hour. Casali had a double, and he walked in last night's game. 1 for 3. Up the middle. Sogard has it. Throws to first, 2 away.
Know your hitter. Sogard that time played it perfectly. With Semien backhanded the ball, going to shortstop, but Sogard, plenty of time. Look where he's playing. Gets behind the bag. Knows the catcher hit the ball. Took his time in front of it. Flip underhand, and did not have to leave his feet. And that's what infielders want to do, just to know exactly who hit the ball, what kind of speed they have, how they're going to make the play. Sogard made that one perfectly.
So back to the top of the order, and Jaso. Jaso was robbed of a hit by Semien. Made a nice backhanded play. That one's hit high and deep to right, hit a ton, and it is gone. Jaso, who had been struggling, homers for the second time this year, and the Rays grabbed the lead right back, 2-1.
Kind of reminiscent of the pinch hit home runs against Frieri and Kevin Jepson of the Angels, huh, when he was with the A's. Because he jumped on the first pitch, as he did right here, and he looked for it, he got it, he crushed it, and no doubt.
Grady Sizemore.
So he robbed by Semien on the ball up the middle. This fastball, nobody's going to rob it. It's a pretty good swing. So another 2-out run scored by the Rays. First pitch hit it.
So Sizemore steps in. He walked. He was in the first inning. So a couple of solo shots. Sizemore bounces to Cannon. Cannon will underhand. Side retired. John Jaso, second home run of the year. So we're going to the bottom of the third. It's the Rays 2 and the A's 1. keep it smooth. That good-looking fella's Chewbacca. Han Solo's right-hand man.
Who's?
Han Solo's right-hand man. It's Chewbacca. Yoda's in the house. If you need some wisdom.
You're into that, aren't you? Got all that information.
It's Star Wars. It's like one of the most famous movies ever. I'm going to get it. You can watch it on the plane. Forget that Field of Dreams stuff. Get you into Star Wars. Although it has been around for 35 years. There. 0-1 to Coco Crisp. 0-2 to Coco Crisp. Reddick to follow, and then Canna here in the bottom of the third. And he's got their run last inning on the Fegley double. Coco grounded out to first. First at bat. Swing and a miss. Sharp breaking ball by Ramirez, and he gets his second strikeout.
Did not throw anything straight. And especially those last pitch, threw it intentionally out of the strike zone, trying to get a swing and miss on a chase pitch, and he got it.
So Reddick steps up. Curve in for a strike. Sometimes it takes a pitcher a couple innings, maybe get a feel for a pitch, but we'll see if Ramirez now has a feel for that breaking ball. Easy play this time.
So yeah, Scotty cleaned all the dirt off his uniform because he knows Cliffy's not going to clean it. He may have to take it home himself. So Cliffy just does the players and the coaches, manager. Scotty, good luck. Great play.
Best play of the year.
Oh, he got a standing ovation. They showed it. The fans' reaction. I mean, that was 30,000 plus tonight.
You're going to see it on some highlight shows, I think. Probably tonight.
Scott Emerson saying thank you, Scotty.
And Reddick rips one right center for a hit. A one-out single for Reddick.
It's a great job of hitting with 2 strikes, and maybe Josh Reddick saw what happened with Coco Crisp with a couple of strikes. Ramirez a little bit upset. This pitch down. Josh Reddick went down and got it right into right center. Stephen Vogt at bat in the 9th inning last night against Boxberger when he hit the 3-2 changeup, and I asked him, I said, do you watch hitters in front just to kind of see? And he had watched Reddick get a 3-2 changeup and a 2-1 changeup and decided that's the pitch he's going to look for. It's important to see how a pitcher is pitching certain hitters, especially those in front of you, and maybe you can look for and get the same type of pitch.
Canna takes a strike on the inside corner. A lot of movement again from Ramirez. Canna had a double in the first. Reddick was thrown out trying to score. Double down the left field line. Missed outside. So Ramirez got a strike on the inside, but did not get the call on the pitch on the outer half.
Number 48, the number of pitches thrown in just the 3rd inning. 25 last inning did not help him. But you're right, his curveball and slider working a little bit better for him in this half inning.
Canna out in front, rolls it right into the A's dugout. He's coming into tonight with a 53-70 record. So game number 124 for the Athletics. 38 left after tonight. Who grabs it, fires to second for one, and that's a double play. And that was a heck of a play by Erasmo Ramirez, who knocked down the line drive and picked it right up and ended up with a double play. So we're on to the 4th, 2-1 Rays.
13 years. Watch every out-of-market game live or on demand in a true HD on over 400 mobile and connected devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and more every night, every device, blackout, and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. 13 years, 2002, that's when it all happened. MLB.tv.
What a play. Sogard gets up, throws, and he takes a hit away from Longoria. Terrific play by Sogard, diving to his left.
Always seems to take the right angle, and he does it again into the outfield grass, and how quickly he's able to pop up. And he does that unbelievably quick as far as getting up, and at the same time, the grip of the baseball and the good throw to Mark Canha.
So Loney steps in with one out. Loney grounded out in the first inning. Did that in the second inning. Curveball for a strike. Loney hitting in the cleanup spot. Rays just they're just not an offense that is going to score a whole bunch of runs. But their pitching keeps them in games. And there is a base hit to left field.
And that's Loney at his best right there. And you put a cleanup hitter in this lineup with 4 home runs, 24 driven in. Of course, he missed a long time, injured himself when the A's were St. Petersburg, but that's been his way of hitting, and not a bad idea. Use the whole field. Just try to hit home runs. You're going to give up a lot to be able to do that.
Here's Forsythe, who homered in the second inning. This is what he did.
On the breaking ball, the more I think about this, it might have been a slider that he wanted to get him to chase out of the strike zone, but it hung up. And when a pitch like that hangs, it does not have the velocity that a fastball does, and a slider that's in the dirt.
Just a bit outside. And the Rays as a team are now last in the American League in total run score. But they can't grind out wins, can't they?
If you pitch and catch the ball, we've always talked about that, and maybe they're a true example of that.
I agree.
Remember, the Chris Archer complete game was 1-0.
Yep. And then last night 2-1. They're 11th in the league in home runs. They do steal bases, 4th in the league in steals.
Look at where they are in the standings, the wild card, and how many games they've won by 1 run. How many they've lost versus the A's, just the exact opposite.
Foul territory, and nobody's going to get it. A lot of hustle, but nobody can get to it. So the count 2-2 to Forsythe. Last year the Rays were also last in the American League in runs scored. Two and two the count. Right over the mound. Sogard right on the bag. Steps on the bag, and that's a double play. Second double play turned by the A's tonight, and we're headed to the bottom of the 4th. It'll be Vogt, Laurie, and Fegley. 2-1 Rays. Tweet your strongest fan photo to CSNCA Data Strong. If you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast, it's brought to you by T-Mobile. The photos from Andrew Smiley from London. Nick, loving the game in London. That's what it says. We just read what it says, and it looks like Nick is loving the game in London. How could you not? Hear the analysis of my partner Ray Fosse every night? Oh. I'm just saying, I learned something every night.
Where was Nick? What was that?
He's in London. Over the pond. Vogt, Laurie, and Fegley here in the bottom of the fourth against Erasmo Ramirez. He's had 4 hits off Ramirez. Rolled. Foul. Blue Jays and the Angels are getting after it. No score, bottom of the second inning. Estrada and Haney, the pitching matchup there. And again, those are the 2 wild card teams right now. The Jays, number 1. The Angels, the number 2 wild card team. It's Estrada for Toronto. And again, Haney for the Angels. We'll keep a close eye on that one. Toronto won last night by a final score of 9-2. David Price got his 12th win. David Price is now 12-4 with a 2.40 ERA, and I give those stats because for all of us who are kind of watching this American League Cy Young race close with Sonny Gray right in the middle of it all, keep an eye on Price.
Yeah. Well, 2 Vanderbilt alums, and Price and Sonny Gray.
Well, Vogt strikes out for the second time. So 1 away for Laurie. There's the wild card, and it is tight. And the update on this is that the Rangers just won in Detroit 5-3. So the Rangers, with that win, which just went final, they are now tied with the Angels for that second wild card spot. So what's happened there? Rangers have played well for a couple weeks. Angels have not, and now they're tied for the second wild card spot. Shot fair, left field corner. Laurie rounds first, and he'll ease into second with a 1-out double. So Laurie is 2 for 2.
Interesting play by Jennings in left field. As Brent Laurie showed he could run as he hustled to first base on what many think might have been in there, but it got a base hit. But watch Jennings. He decided, nope, not going to try to cut it off. I'm going to concede a double and get the ball back in. Instead of trying to cut it off and maybe allowing the hustling Laurie to get to third base, gets his 20th double. And I think that's just shows right there that Jennings knew the ball was hit hard enough and he was not going to take a chance. Had to keep a man at second instead of letting him get to third.
And Fegley pulls off that slider, and it's 0-1. Fegley had the double just inside the bag at first, in the second inning, and knocked in a run. This one is drilled left center field, but Kiermaier got a terrific jump, and he runs it down.
He almost overran it. He has so much speed that he took off and had to reach up as he got to the ball, and it looked like it was going to be in, but Kiermaier out of nowhere and boom, went up and got it. And that's tremendous speed, covers a lot of ground. Remember, they have Jennings at left. He also has great speed.
Yeah, they will cover some ground. No doubt about that.
And Ramirez.
2 booths over. Darth Vader and the Stormtroopers.
Going after Brian Anderson and Dwayne Stats. The visitors from Florida. Pitch.
Changeup drops in for a strike, 1-1.
Brian Anderson with the beard, playing stats with the jacket on. Brian Anderson, very good left-handed pitcher. So he fits perfectly right in that mix of.
Oh yeah, he's having
Star Wars.
Darth Vader just doesn't say much. He just does that heavy breathing thing. It's kind of creepy.
That is
like
creepy.
You'd really like to talk to the guy.
Look at Brian behind there. He's got. Can't believe he's seeing all this. That's for the Rays.
It's like even a general, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
You don't get a response.
Stuck for an answer.
He gets that heavy breathing thing going, and then you get creeped out. So that's the thing. It's like, what do you say? What do you do? You shake his hand?
And that's probably the real Darth Vader too, right?
Oh, no question. And it's low, so Sogard walks for the second time.
Simmons got to make it pay. It looked like they were pitching carefully to Sogard. He's made some great defensive plays and walked on a 3-2 his first at bat. This time a 3-1 changeup.
Number 10.
What are you thinking? Is Jim Hickey, the pitching coach, just taking a chance with the right-hander and Marcus Semien trying to continue his season. It's been a long season for somebody getting a chance to play every day at shortstop, and really has not affected his hitting. Last night probably would like to have had that one back, but could not make contact to the ninth inning.
Outside corner first strike. A breakdown for Ramirez. Previous 9 games, terrific ERA, but the last 5 games still not bad, 3.66. He has won his last 2 starts. He beat the Braves and he beat the Astros.
That was a kind of a chase slider that Semien just got 0-1, and as a pitcher we're going to see in the future this young man that he's going to take, because he's going to recognize the spin, recognize it's out of the strike zone, or he's going to take a pitch that might be a little bit higher than what Ramirez just threw him and hit the ball to right field to drive it away.
0-2 pitch, strike 3 call, tailing fastball, and a big strikeout for Ramirez, his 4th of the night, and we're through 4 here in Oakland, and it's the Rays 2 and the A's 1.
'16 priority seating. Choose your exact seating location for next season. These offer a variety of full and partial season plans that qualify for great benefits, including half-price parking, flexible ticket exchange program, and more. For more information, call 510-638-GO-A's or visit athletics.com/2016. It's going to be a good finish for the A's that try to finish strongly and then take it right into the 2016 season. Off seasons go very quickly. Finish early October. The 4th is the end of the regular season.
Sogard has it, and Cabrera is retired, so he's grounded out twice.
Sonny Gray, all ground ball outs. He now has 11. Fortunately for him, the 2 balls that have been in the air have left the park. Other than that, keeping the ball on the ground.
Number 8, Desmond
Had a start
Jennings.
a couple ago that had 14 fly ball outs, but tonight Rays hitters hitting on top of the ball and leading by 1 run again, as he did last night.
Here's Jennings, struck out looking in the 2nd inning. And that one's ripped toward right center. It's hit well. Reddick on the move, and Reddick's going to play it off the wall. It's at the base of the wall, and Jennings has a 1-out double.
Well, just like John Jaso, first pitch fastball hitting. And Jaso hit his out for a home run. And Jennings came close right center. And good fastball velocity wise. And Jennings could not pull it. Maybe trying to go that direction. And Reddick played it perfectly off the wall. But excellent speed by the left fielder. Jennings was probably telling Jaso on that ball he hit up the middle of Simeon made. He said, "That'd have been a base hit for me." He has speed. And Kiermaier following him has just as much, if not more.
Kiermaier struck out swinging in the 3rd inning. 2 strikeouts for Sonny Gray. He's walked 1. And the first pitch is a good one, right at the knees for a strike. Sure, the Rays are hoping that Kiermaier, a full season in the big leagues, playing pretty much every day, will certainly help him develop into a fine all-around player. Defense, he's fine. He's very good. Sogard has it quickly to first, and they get Kiermaier for the 2nd. So Kiermaier has that great speed. He can
once again
learn to hit a little bit.
Yeah, Sogard doing exactly what he didn't have to do, and that was with Casale a couple of innings ago. So the Kiermaier speed, you can see how Sogard had to plan to get to the ball quickly and throw kind of on the run. You know, Kiermaier is kind of like Pilar of Toronto.
Yeah, that's a good call. Yep.
And moved into center field, and Jennings comes back. Jennings goes to left field.
Yep. And a guy like that, if he can just take the next step up as a hitter, well, now you've got a very good all-around player. So runner at 3rd, and the ball's bounced foul.
I think one of the things you want to see, and then to a greater degree now where it's in all positions being offensive positions, but what Kiermaier can do in center field. Pilar for the Blue Jays and Billy Burns. I mean, you play defense in center where you're robbing hits, and Kiermaier did that with Fegleiter tying run at second base. He got to a ball in left center that maybe other guys don't get to, but that kind of speed, very frustrating for hitters when they hit a ball in the gap and they think they have a hit and then it's caught.
Fegley with a nice play. Well, the Rays certainly do that. They catch the ball well, pitch well. I think the only thing the not scoring a lot of runs does is it does put a lot of pressure on your pitchers. Right. They really need to be pretty good, and in the Rays case, their bullpen needs to be very good night in and night out.
Well, that's the key too, because you figure starter, if he goes 7, it's great. They need the setup and the closer, and right now their closer has been struggling. Well, we might have to start extending the starters a little bit more if the struggles continue.
And that one foul again. So that count now 2-2 to Curt Casale. So 2-2 the count. Sonny Gray trying to work his way out of the jam with Jennings at third. Just missed outside, but a good pitch at 95 miles an hour.
John Jaso, the left hand in the on-deck circle. This could be a pitch of trying to get Casada. Does he have another runner at third base? Jaso homered his last at bat. Jumped on a first pitch fastball.
Tried to come in, and he did get in there. Casali rolled it foul. So good crowd tonight. Not a sellout, but as Ray said, it probably be in the low 30s. We're just kind of taking a guess. Close to a sellout, but probably not quite. Beckley sets up outside. And Casali just got a piece of it, and it just popped out of the glove of Beckley.
Well, foul ball, just look how it changes direction. Started towards the pocket and then hit right, and the edge of the catcher's mitt instead of going in the pocket. And that's how close it is to being strike three. Foul tip in the glove, and changes just enough direction that it does not go in the pocket. Very hard to handle after that.
So we'll do 3-2 again. And it's low, so pretty good at bat for Curt Casali, the 9th place hitter. So Sonny Gray with walk number 2, and now here's Jaso.
Well, this is a first pitch fastball to John Jaso. He did not waste any time. He actually was robbed in his first at bat by Marcus Semien. Then this one a no doubter deep in the right field, right center field.
It's the second time this year where he has allowed 2 or more home runs in a game. Forsythe in the second, Jaso in the third. Runners at the corners. Curve, and Jaso lays off.
That other game was a leadoff home run on a grand slam against the Twins, something he had never done before. Good to see the breaking ball thrown by Sonny Gray and thrown hard and blocked by Josh Phegley. That's what the runner at third is always concerned with, the wild pitch, especially with a hard breaking ball.
Fastball a little bit inside. That was the last start for Sonny Gray, and a higher amount of fastballs. Interesting. Swing and a miss. That's 2-1.
Wow. He swung like it was a changeup, but it's at 89, so a two-seamer. Kept you right on. Another sellout tonight.
Yeah, I shorted everybody a little bit. I said it was close, but not quite. But it is a sellout. 35,067.
That's a lot of suites being used in center field. Marco and Suite Services got them busy tonight. There they are. People are going to have to leave so you can see the fireworks there.
That's true. You cannot see the fireworks from there.
Unless you look straight up and over your head, which come out of center field.
Two pitch to Jaso. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Ball down and in, but a good pitch by Gray. And a couple of runners stranded by the Rays. Bottom of the 5th coming up. It's the Rays 2 and the A's 1.
roads lead to the wine country for the Verizon IndyCar Series season finale. It's August 28th through the 30th. Visit racesonoma.com for more information. Bottom of the 5th, A's trying to get something going against Erasmo Ramirez. They've had opportunities against him. In fact, they have had base runners in every inning, but just the one run so far. Top of the order, and that one is ripped to right. Sizemore to right there, 1 out. So Burns is 0 for 3. White Sox lead the Mariners 1-0 in the 5th inning. That's Rodon, the young left-hander for Chicago, against Nuno, the left-hander pitching for Seattle. White Sox won big last night, 11-4. And the A's will be in Seattle Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, a 3-game series. First pitch to Coco's outside.
A's will also have a 4-game series in Chicago, and if they miss Chris Sale, they'll be lucky.
Yeah, well, you got a 20% chance of missing it. Rolled slowly toward Forsythe, who scoops and throws 2 runs.
4 games against the Dodgers, the A's missed Zach Greinke.
That's right. Well, the matchups, according to the A's notes for that series in Seattle, Dubront and Iwakuma on Monday, Jesse Chavez and Mike Montgomery on Tuesday, and then Chris Bassett and Felix Hernandez on Wednesday. Wednesday's a day game. Day off on Thursday in Arizona. High temperature of 111. That's just what I saw today. Reddick has reached on an error, and he has singled.
Someone said, well, Chase Field is domed. I said, yeah, but you have to get to it.
That's a very good point.
Because, you know, if the whole city was domed, that's one thing, but it's not. And you have to find a way to get into Chase Field. Once you do, it's nice and relaxing. You see our good friend Chip Hale managing the Diamondbacks for the first year. First time this year. Tony Russa, Dave Stewart, Dave Duncan. Bunch of former athletics on the front office of the Diamondbacks.
Forsythe again, a nice big hop, and a 7-pitch inning for Erasmo Ramirez, and he has his first 3-up, 3-down inning. 6th inning coming up. Coors Light. Fewest pitches per inning this season in the major league. Sonny Gray is 4th. Burley, Cologne, Lackey, Gray, and Hughes. Again, that's average pitches
per inning. How's he doing tonight?
Better.
Too bad. Not too bad. First pitch to Grady Sizemore is in for a strike. 2 walks, 3 strikeouts for Sonny so far. He's allowed 4 hits. Got a couple of double plays that certainly helped him. Trailing 2-1, trying to get the A's offense going.
Oh, we've been saying that a lot this year.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's too bad. Because the pitching's been great, catching the ball better, and just run into a little bit of a tough time getting the big hits the time when you need them.
Hit the other way. Coco on the move, and Coco makes the catch. So that's 1 out in the 6th inning. Breakdown for Sonny Gray out distribution. Lots of ground ball outs. Just 1 fly out, and that was the ball just hit by Sizemore, and then the 3 strikeouts. But looking at those other Cy Young candidates, Dallas Keuchel, 14-6. Keuchel's ERA at 2.37. That's second behind Gray. Keuchel is second in the league in innings pitched. Sonny is 6th. Keuchel is 8th in the league in strikeouts. Make that 7th in strikeouts. Sonny is 9th. Popped up just below us. So Keuchel may be Sonny's biggest competitor, along with David Price, who we mentioned earlier. Price's ERA is 3rd. So the ERA in the American League: Gray 1, Keuchel 2, Price 3, Kazmir 4, Archer 5. Chris Archer's
How about wins? You've got the list there. Who's got the most?
Keuchel 14, Hernandez 14, Lewis 14. And then McHugh, Eovaldi, and Burley have 13. So Keuchel with 2 more wins than both Sonny Gray and David Price at this point. So it'll be an interesting subject matter the rest of the year. That's the ERA leaders. See Archer's name on there. Archer's record is 11-9. But he's been pitching terrific. Simeon juggles just a little bit, but he's able to get to it. Longoria is out. So Longoria hitless in this series as he's 0 for 3 tonight.
Number 21.
But a lot of things can happen. 40 games left.
This is a good adjustment here. That ball, the heel of the glove. This is a nice. I mean, that's progression for Marcus Semien, because we've seen that play in the past. It's an error. He would never come up with it, but took the bad hop, hit the heel of the glove, popped up, kept it cool, and threw at Longoria.
First pitch to Loney, in for a strike, inside corner. Loney a ground out in the single. And now it's 0-2, 89 miles an hour that time. Loney had a good rip at it.
See the frustration too when he did not hit the ball where he wanted to, and he got a pretty good pitch to hit. Sonny Gray, you might think you put a good swing, you have a pretty good pitch to hit, but then all of a sudden it's nothing, and that's just a credit to the way Sonny is able to pitch and the pitches he's able to make.
Loney lays off that time.
Well, with 2 strikes, important. You did not want to have a swing and the ball get by, so Josh Fegler blocking the ball. Good job there. It was not with a runner on base, but These two hitters at times, especially with a slider thrown by Sonny Gray, they will swing it.
Sonny not happy with that one, and the count goes to 2-2. So pitch number 77 coming up for Sonny Gray. He's trying to have his first 3 up, 3 down inning. And a bit inside, didn't miss by much. Full count.
It's only the third 3-ball count. The other 2 he's walked the batter. 3-1 to Sizemore, 3-2 to Casale.
Payoff pitch. Fegley sets up inside, and it's right at the knees on the inside corner. And just like that, Loney gets thrown out. Loney slammed his helmet and his bat down, and immediately Paul Nauert threw him out, and James Loney has to be careful. I don't believe he said anything, but he fired the helmet and bat down, and Nauert, who refuses to walk away, threw him out. See, this is where Paul Nauert really should just walk away and get out of there instead of standing there staring at him. That really makes it worse.
And that's going to be just as much the frustration of the hitter. And so he's upset.
So this is how the top of the 6th comes to an end. And there's your call. And that's what Loney did. He didn't say anything. And he's gone. How it ended. Loney thought the pitch was low. He did not say anything. He flipped his helmet. He may have bumped the home plate umpire. And this is where Paul Nauert just needs to walk away. I'm sorry, but he's making the situation worse. Just walk away.
Well, we have seen umpires who would do that, and you respect them for doing it. And that little tap right there is dangerous from Loney's standpoint.
You know, who's pointing? The umpire's pointing. Walk away. So Loney thought it was low. Paul Nauert threw him out.
Hey, when you have Raymond escorting you out, you know things are thick. It's a nice gesture given the baseball. So the sure-handed first baseman, Loney, is out. Daniel Nava, picked up on waivers by the Rays, takes over at first base.
And Canna leads it off. Canna, Vogt, and Laurie. There's Daniel Nava. Canna a double, and he hit into a double play. Got in on Canna. Ramirez. His fastball, the velocity is 90-91, but it really moves. At least tonight it is moving into the right-handed hitters.
That's a ball that actually Canna in the first inning pulled his hands in and hit the ball down the left field line. The double.
Driven to center, hit well. Kiermaier's back. He's near the wall. Gone. And we are tied.
Folks, that's impressive. A 2-strike breaking ball. I guess Ramirez didn't like the fact that he got the fastball in on his hands. Mark Canna, a breaking ball with 2 strikes, straightaway center. 10th home run, all 10 against right-handers. The second against Ramirez. The 3-run shot in Florida.
Jennings over, and he makes the catch. Vogt is retired on 1 pitch. Here's the home run again by Mark Canna.
And remember the previous pitch, he jammed him with a fastball. So there's kind of a slider. Ramirez with his center fielder almost leaving the mark jumping for it. Kiermaier went up unbelievably high over the fence in center field, but it just got carried. Sounded great off the bat. Kiermaier up. That's a great effort to not come up with it, but came close, getting up as high as he did.
Lowry's got another hit, and he's going to try for 2. The throw is away from Forsythe, and Lowry's in. Forsythe couldn't handle it. If he could handle it, they may have had a shot at Lowry, but he couldn't do it, and it's a double.
They had him by plenty, but there's your perfect throw that maybe made it. It did not, but Brett Lowry's thinking too as soon as he hit this ball. Towards the gap, it was cut off by Kiermaier with the speed, but Brett Lowry did not break stride. Kiermaier with a backhand, Kiermaier with the throw, and you're right, Forsythe, he catches it plenty of time. But great hustle by Brett Lowry. He plays the game the right way. This is hard all out on him, and he was going to test the arm of Kiermaier, and it gets in safely. And really, from that standpoint, everything was good. Kiermaier made the throw, but Forsythe just did not handle the play. The Kemp within 3 consecutive pitches. Home run, out, double.
Well, maybe no more waiting around by the Yankees.
Right. Catcher, number 19, Josh Phegley.
Pitches per start. He's at 80. The average is 76. Jeltz starts to throw. Steve Jeltz. And that one is hit high in the air to left field. Jennings going back, and that baby is gone. Phegley has homered, and now the A's have the lead 4-2.
And another first pitch. Josh Phegley's first since the 19th of July against Tommy Malone right here. So the hustle double and a 2-run home run, and that quickly 3 in this inning, and the A's have taken the lead.
Sogard hits it hard, but to the second baseman Forsythe, who throws to Navatua.
Josh Phegley, a breaking ball from Ramirez. Again, this one up a little bit higher than the one that was hit by Canna. And I would say, Cat, the ball is carrying tonight. Is this a good swing? Big Head's waiting to catch it. Big Head's almost got hit in the head. But a nice swing by Phegley following the double. So 5 consecutive pitches, the home run, the fly out to left, the double, the 2-run home run, and now the ground ball out. So he must have seen something from Ramirez.
Yes, indeed.
To be doing what they're doing in this inning.
0-1 to Simeon, who has hit a fly ball to right field. And he has struck out. Strike at the knees, and it's 0-2. Longoria charges, throws on the run, and almost a collision at first base. The out is recorded, but the A's do the damage. Canna a solo home run, Fegley a 2-run shot. So the A's score 3 in the 6th that take a 4-2 lead. That's Tim Beckham. He was the first overall pick by the Rays in the 2008 draft. A draft that I think the Rays wish they could have a do-over. Pedro Alvarez was the second pick. Eric Hosmer was the third pick. Check out who was the fifth pick. Buster Posey. So that would be a do-over if you were the Rays. Nothing against Tim Beckham. He's done a decent job. He's a kind of a backup infielder this year, but a couple of stars on that list. Brett Lawrie was a first-round pick that year. He was number 16 to the Brew Crew. Here's Forsythe.
You mentioned how quickly the A's were swinging early in the count. Ramirez threw only 10 pitches in the 6th inning, facing 6 batters. 80 pitches for Sonny Gray with that last pitch, so Sonny's okay pitch count wise.
Little up, little away to Forsythe.
Complete games are a rarity in today's baseball. Ramirez trying to beat the A's for the first time. A's being 3 spot in the 6th inning. A couple of home runs.
There's a shot left center. Burns on the move, and Burns caught it.
That ball took off on him, guy, but he looked like he was under it, and then all of a sudden it just took off towards left field. And what a play right there. It takes off, and what a play he made to leave his feet to go after. Easy there, then all of a sudden, let's go get it. Billy Burns, complete headlong dive, and what a play to be able to hang on to the ball. That's a play. I mean, when you go airborne, horizontal to the ground, up in the webbing and hang on, What a play. To see the pitchers reacting after a play like that's made behind them. I think right there looked like he had it and then just took off and had to leave his feet. And several times this year we have seen Billy Burns do that same thing, and Sonny appreciates that's a double if he does not get to it.
0-1 to Asdrubal Cabrera. So a couple of nice plays by the A's tonight. So 84 pitches now for Gray. I said 2 nice plays. I should say 3.
That's right. Scotty might have gotten a bigger ovation.
Scotty's play was just a little bit better.
Yeah. But if he had missed it, it just meant that one of the relievers would have gotten hit. If Burns misses this one, or this is Scotty. What a play. He left his feet too. He'll get it. Oh, great concentration.
That's the play of the night.
There's just nothing to it. Even Red gave him a high five.
1-2 pitch. That one's hit well left center field. A long run for Coco, and it is gone. Asdrubal Cabrera goes the other way for his 9th home run of the year, and it's 4-3. That ball up and out over the plate, and Cabrera just went that way with it. So 9th home run of the year.
There's a hanging breaking ball. You'd very rarely see that from Sonny Gray. But Cabrera opposite field power and a 1-run game, and the ball is carried. It's unbelievable the way it's carried.
Yeah, that was well out.
Yeah.
So here's Jennings. Now it's a 1-run game, 4-3. Jennings strikeout and a double. And that was a hanger, and he fouled it back. Boy, the Angels are getting pounded again. The Blue Jays lead 7-0 in the 4th inning down in Anaheim. One pitch down the right field line. Reddick on the move, and it is foul. Mariners have taken the lead over the White Sox 3-1 in the 7th inning. First place Astros won at home. They beat the Dodgers 3-1. The Astros a chance to widen their lead again. There's our guy. Sean Doolittle's back, and that's good to see.
Maybe instead of that sit back and relax, maybe that's that look of I got the 9th. If it comes down to that, maybe we shall see.
Wouldn't that be something?
That would be great, wouldn't it? Talk about a sellout crowd rising to their feet if that would happen.
Ball loose out in right field, so Reddick takes care of it. So 1-2 the count to Jennings. Kiermaier is in the on deck zone. Chop to Simeon. Throws in time. 2 away here in the 7th. 3 solo home runs by the Rays. Forsythe, Jaso, and Cabrera.
Now batting.
Rays not a big home run hitting team. First time this year they've hit 3 homers in a game.
Well, incidentally, first time this year Sonny Gray's given up 3 in a game.
Yep.
It's only the second time 2, as that was the Dozier and Plouffe against the Twins, and Cabrera opposite field. Quite a poke by Cabrera.
Kiermaier has struck out, and he has grounded out so far. 1 for 6 in the series. Chops that one. Right at the bag is Canna, who grabs it, steps on the bag side, retired. Cabrera with the home run, his 9th of the year. 7th inning stretch. It's the A's 4 and the Rays 3.
A lot of home runs. This one crushed to right center. First one. And then, how about Mark Canna would tie the game with a breaking ball, 2 strikes, straightaway center. Kiermaier jumping. Josh Phegley gets another breaking ball. First pitch, almost hit the big head. And instead, a 2-run home run. And then, Asdrubal Cabrera, opposite field, left center against Sonny Gray. 3rd home run he's given up tonight. First time for the Rays to hit 3. And it is a 1-run game, bottom of the 7th inning. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PICK-ATT, mobilizing your world.
So here's Burns leading things off at the bottom of the 7th inning. After the first pitch, it was a changeup, 77 miles an hour. Burns a line out, a ground out, and another line out. So he's hit a couple balls hard, but nothing to show for it tonight.
I think Ramirez remembers he had a home run off it.
You're right.
In Tampa Bay, so he's not giving him much to hit tonight.
Seven pitches for Erasmo Ramirez. He's given up 8 hits. A couple of big home runs in the 6th inning. That's a fair ball. Nava grabs it behind the bag. Burns can't believe it. And Dana DeMuth says you're out. Burns stood there and looked at him for a while.
Fans, you can look like Sonny Gray and Eric Sogard with your very own Striped Sox backpack, presented by Chevron Tech Run Advantage Credit Card. On Monday, September the 7th, 15,000 fans will receive this stylish backpack modeled after the preferred footwear of Sonny and Sogi. Get your Labor Day tickets now at athletics.com/tickets or by calling 877-493-BALL. And we hope Eric Sogard's signing today at the Xfinity store went well, which I'm sure it did. 150 fans got a chance to meet Eric Sogard. It's 11 o'clock today. I missed the fireworks night.
Coco shoots one down the left field line, but it'll be into the crowd up above the A's bullpen, which is quiet at the moment. Coco has grounded out twice and he has struck out, so 0 for 3. Had a couple of hits last night. Takes inside from Ramirez. Xavier Cedeno, the left-hander, is warming up out in the Rays bullpen. Ramirez has 2 walks and 4 strikeouts in the game. for Nava. Handles a tough hop, then flips to Ramirez. Not a bad play by Daniel Nava. 2 outs.
Now batting right.
There's the play to catch the ball, which is a tough hop, and once he caught it, nice feet underhand to Ramirez, covering the back. Really have time to get crisp.
Daniel Nava back home. Born in Redwood City and lives in San Carlos in the offseason. Santa Clara. So went to CSM, College of San Mateo. Reddick flips one toward left field, right at Jennings, and he's got it. 10-pitch inning for Erasmo Ramirez, so we're on to the 8th. It's the A's 4 and the Rays 3.
California is brought to you by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places. By Xfinity, home of the most live sports. And by Black Bear Diner, feed your inner bear.
That's Mike Selleck from our Media Relations Department, and he's got a birthday coming up. Is that correct?
On Monday, he will turn the great 5-0. And so happy birthday early for Mike Selleck, who I don't think is going to be making the trip. I mean, it's his birthday. Why would he be traveling? So Mike Selleck, he puts together some baseball information. He is the top when it comes to information.
He's been with the A's a long time.
I always listen to other people around baseball. That people say, wow, your notes are just, they're so great. You get notes every day from the teams, but Mike Selleck has the best around the American League for sure. Probably all of baseball. Nothing against Zach or Adam. You know, they're all working together. But only Mike is having a birthday Monday that I know of.
So he will not be celebrating in Seattle. 0-2 to Kurt Casale, the 9th place hitter. That hard breaking ball, 1-2.
Well, the reason Sonny Gray's here, that pitch count at 95. I think Bob Melvin saw Jesse Chavez against the Dodgers go 8 innings. That was on Wednesday. The A's won 2 in a row against the Dodgers. Home run saved it.
Solly, a ground out and a walk, and he pops this one up. Sogard grabs it. So 1 out here in the top of the 8th inning. The last 2 starts for Sonny Gray as far as pitches go, 107
number 28
against Houston, 97 against Baltimore. But I guess that's a little unfair because in between those 2 starts, he missed a start with the sore back. So let's probably look at that last start in Baltimore when he threw the 97. Swing and a miss by Jaso. Ground out home run strikeout for Jaso. He hit his 2nd home run of the year in the 3rd inning. At that time, it gave the Rays the 2-1 lead.
Last time, and it was the fastball inside part of the plate that he hit for the home run, but last at bat 3-2, swung at a pitch maybe out of the strike zone, down and in. And looks like if Sonny's going to pitch inside, he wants it to be maybe in the dirt, definitely off the plate, just to maybe show him.
A little squibbler up the 3rd base line, and it went foul, and it looked like Jaso swung at a pitch that was down around the shoe tops. Sonny Gray will take the strike. 1-2.
I did this in the first at bat last night on 3-2, which helped against Bassett. This one out of the strike zone. Never known John Jaso to be patient. He likes to swing the bat. Swings a lot of different pitches.
He'll wait for the plastic wrapper to blow through. It has become a breezy night at the ballpark, and it has cooled off big time. Flags whip around pretty well in both corridors. See, the beanies are out, blankets are out. Getting ready for the fireworks after the game. He's trying to even up this series at a game apiece. 2-2 pitch and fouled right at home plate.
So I had a little discussion with Canna and or Paul Nauert. That's twice for the foul ball. In fact, has not been able to hang on. He feels upset about it, but it's not easy to do.
Sonny grabs it, flips to first, and that's out number 2. So 102 pitches now for Sonny Gray.
That is his 16th ground ball out recorded by Sonny Gray tonight. And 3 in the air. And it's hard to believe that with that many ground ball outs that he give up 3 home runs.
Number 24, Grady Sizemore.
So Sizemore hits. He's bullpen quiet. Now, with the A's having an off day on Thursday, I guess you could look ahead, and Sonny Gray's next scheduled start would be Friday in Arizona. A little low, 2-0, which would give him an extra day off with the off day on Thursday. So 2-0 to Sizemore. Longoria is the on-deck hitter. Took a little off, looked like 89 miles an hour, but a little more movement, and Sizemore missed it.
It's a hard slider and just did not want to give in to him. Don't blame him, because Sizemore has the potential to hit home runs.
2-1 pitch is low. You really want to get Sizemore so you don't have to face that guy. Longoria's been quiet in this series so far. One bounced, just foul over the bag at first. So full count, pitch number 108 coming up. So Kurt Young just in case. And did he up again? He'll start right-handed. 3-2 is hit hard. Backhanded by Canna. Side retired. 3 up, 3 down inning. 5 in a row retired by Sonny Gray. And we're going to the bottom of the 8th. A's hanging out to a 4-3 lead.
Athletics and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
Game summary brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. 3-5-1 for the Rays, 4-8-0 for the Athletics. Ramirez is done after 7 innings. Han Solo shots, Forsythe, Jaso, and Cabrera. That's the 3 runs for the Rays. Sonny Gray, 8 innings, but there's action out in the A's bullpen, so it is possible that Sonny Gray is done after 8. But we shall see. And when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change tune-up and repair experts. So Alex Colomé, who is now a reliever, and 13 starts for the Rays.
1 against the A's.
And now pitching out of the bullpen.
He took a little bit of extra time in his pitch.
I remember that, yes. He's a violator. Canna goes after the first pitch, and it's popped up to Longoria, who fights with it a little bit, but Canna's retired. So Canna double and a home run tonight, 2 for 4 as he heads back to the dugout, and that'll bring up Vogt. So Pomeranz and Vendetti. It will be Longoria, Nava, and Forsythe in the top of the 9th inning. Doolittle's waiting for that time when the 9th becomes his inning again. Stephen Vogt is 0 for 3. He has struck out twice and hit a fly ball to left field. Colomé, hard thrower, 95 miles an hour. Blue Jays leading the Angels 10-1 in the 4th inning down in Anaheim. To vote. Laurie will be next. Laurie's got 3 hits out tonight. He's with 8. Off speed and a good one. 88 miles an hour, 1-2. Sellout crowd tonight. 4th sellout of the year for the Athletics. It has become a cool night now. And the 1-2 pitch, a hard breaking ball down and in. And Vogt strikes out for the 3rd time. So tough night for Stephen Vogt. He's the designated hitter tonight.
Well, that's the difference, too. And the fact that DH versus catching, and Josh Vegler with a 2-run home run, catch tonight. Stephen Vogt really is like pinch hitting 4 times.
Yep.
And he talked about how difficult it is to pinch hit because usually put up in situations, but as a DH, it's like you're pinch hitting 4 times, and it makes it very difficult because all you have to do is think about for the next 8 batters hitting instead of getting behind the plate. Catching, which he does a very good job.
He probably misses being back there.
Absolutely.
Laurie has singled and doubled twice, and he has scored twice. So a terrific night for Brett Laurie, playing 3rd base tonight. Danny Valencia with a little bit of a hamstring issue. Valencia, it's the lower right hamstring. Down close to the knee area, the back of the knee, so it's been bothering him a little bit. He may miss tomorrow as well. One-two pitch, breaking ball, swing and a miss. So Colomé has a 3-up, 3-down inning, and we're headed to the 9th. Longoria to lead it off. It's the A's with a 4-3 lead. 1-run game last night. Another one tonight. Sonny Gray was very good. Goes 8 innings, 3 earned runs. Trying to get his 13th win of the year. And it's Pat Venditti who comes in with Pomeranz loose and ready to go out in the bullpen. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Get your oil change tune-up and Smog Expert. So Venditti he'll pitch right-handed against Longoria. First pitch is outside. Nava to follow. Nava is a switch hitter, and then Forsythe. In for a strike.
Maybe that Derek Shelton said, of course, the hitting coach for the Rays talked about Venditti. He said every switch hitter is thrown left-handed. So maybe they would want Nava bat right-handed against Pomeranz, who's warming up.
Venditti pitched last night, threw just 10 pitches, an inning and a third. He did a good job.
Sonny Gray was 17 ground ball outs tonight. He had 16 in that game in Cleveland right before the All-Star break. Shutout that he had. So tonight, pitch count at 108, 17 ground ball outs. Remarkable.
Sweeping slider, and Longoria watches it break outside. 2-2 the count. Longoria is 0 for 3 tonight. That one sinks down and in, and Longoria rolls it foul, heads toward the A's dugout. Kendall Graveman and Jake Odorizzi tomorrow in the series finale. Coverage starts at 12:30 with A's pregame live. So join us for some Sunday afternoon baseball. 2-2 to Longoria, not close, 3-2. That's Nava. Three-two pitch was a bit of a hanger, and Longoria rolled it foul.
Well, Longoria sitting pretty much on slider, and it's just a matter of if he gets it, which that's the pitch that Venditti likes to throw, whether he's throwing left-handed or right-handed. Just a question: get it down, throw it away from him.
Just got a piece of it.
Well, there's a slider, stayed in the middle of the plate, and you're right. He was out in front, hit it off the end of the bat. Cue shot.
Longoria with 13 home runs on the year. Setting up outside, and he reached for it and pops a foul.
Probably ball 4, but didn't want to take a chance.
Another 3-2 pitch. Here it is. And he got him swinging, and he chased ball 4 again.
And a fastball. Throw him a fastball and got it. And then he looked into the dugout and gets his left-handed glove, or left-handed, and it looks like he's going to stay there. And boy, that's a sneaky fastball. Longoria did swing a ball 4, but had to be thinking that maybe he was going to get the slider.
So 1 out, and here's Nava, who, after Venditti said, I'm going to pitch left-handed, Nava will step in there batting right-handed.
And it was the same as last night. And he declared left-handed. Nava right-handed.
First pitch is outside.
Yep. With a switch hitter, he wanted to make sure, as he did with Swihart of the Red Sox.
Inside, and now 2-0.
Forsythe's a right-handed hitter in the on-deck circuit, and then another switch hitter in Cabrera.
Here's your breakdown. A lot of at-bats either way for Nava. And now 3-0. So Venditti got Longoria to chase. And now he's got to get a strike into Nava with the count 3-0. And he missed up and away, and it's a 1-out walk.
Already switched the glove back to right-handed.
So here comes Logan Forsythe. I think we're going to get a pinch runner.
Now
So Tim Beckham
number 11,
is going to pinch run.
Logan Forsythe. Additionally, number 1, Tim Beckham running for Nava.
So Beckham is the pinch runner, and he's at first. 1 out. Here's Forsythe. Venditti will pitch right-handed. Forsythe, obviously. Beckham has 3 steals on the year. He's 3 for 4.
And we do know that Josh Phegley is excellent throwing. Attempted steals.
And that almost hit him. Forsythe pulled his hands back in and spun away from it. 5 straight out of the strike zone. Beckham inches off. He's got a pretty good lead. And that one is inside, and now it's 2-0. So Venditti's going to go for a little walk. As Drupal Cabrera is the on-deck hitter. And that one on the inside corner for a strike. Forsythe homered in the second.
The lost it at 84, and that's his fastball, so it's not like he's overpowering, just location. That was a sinker. Started action, middle of the plate, went inside. Nice job of catching the ball by Phegley. Keep it in the strike zone.
And there's a line drive left center field. That's a base hit. Burns picks it up near the warning track. Beckham to third. He'll stop there. And Forsythe with a double. And it's second and third and 1 out. Burns was able to get over there and keep it from going to the wall, and that kept Beckham at third. So Pomeranz is coming in second and third, 1 out, and Cabrera is the hitter. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change tune-up and smog experts.
Your attention, please. Ladies and gentlemen, coming in to pitch for the Athletics.
Ball off Ramirez to tie the game. That was home run number 10. And then Josh Phegley his first since late July or mid-July. And that would give the A's a 4-2 lead. So on the players of the game, the two guys who hit home runs, two guys who are young, and Pat Venditti with a walk and a double. Following the strikeout of Longoria on a pitch was out of the strike zone. So Drew Pomeranz can get a strikeout. He'd love it right here. Second and third, one out.
And he will face the veteran switch hitter Asdrubal Cabrera. Desmond Jennings is in the on-deck circle. Corner infielders in, middle infielders back. Outfield maybe in a step or two. Cabrera, 2 groundouts and a homer. First pitch curve is hit fair. Down the right field line, and the Rays are going to take the lead. Wow. 2-run score, and it's 5-4 Tampa Bay. First pitch, it was a big curveball. Canna's playing off the line, and Cabrera just shot it right inside the bag for a 2-run double.
Well, the first pitch, and just, I mean, it was not necessarily a great curveball, but remember Cabrera from the left side hit a home run to left center on a breaking ball. This the curveball he hit right-handed off the left-hander. And 2 runs scoring easily, and now the A's that quickly are trailing.
And here's Desmond Jennings. Runner goes, and he will make it without a throw. So Cabrera with the stolen base, and that's big.
You got to pay attention. Got to pay attention. Look back. Did not look. You have to wonder why he slid. Now the infield does come in.
0-1 to Jennings. Jennings bounces it. Simeon has it. And he flips to first, and that's the second out.
Cabrera tried to get to third so he could make it a 2-run game, and now a 2-out hit will do that with Kiermaier, but a tough same situation. You come in second and third, and of course Pomeranz going to get a blown save, but that's a tough one to try to get. I mean, that was kind of a miracle that had to be made.
So Kiermaier, who is hitless tonight, takes the first pitch for a strike. Interesting, the Rays bullpen is empty, which means Jesus Colome is going to go back out there for the bottom of the 9th. He was good in the bottom of the 8th, but his team did not have the lead at that point. And it's 0-2. Boxberger has been very shaky this week. He did get the save last night. Now Kiermaier may have hurt himself. He took a big swing, and not sure what's wrong. Remember, the Rays are playing without James Loney, who was thrown out of the game.
It's usually oblique when you swing that hard. Opened up midsection. His hand. Maybe his hand. Yeah, looks like his hand, the way he grimaced, and then the hand.
His right hand is what they're looking at, or wrist area.
I'd say good fastball.
I was going to say, throw up the heater.
I mean,
if you're Kiermaier, bunt.
If he's going to be a little tentative with it, might as well at least give him the heater. See if he can handle it.
And he did. Kiermaier, no chance on that one, but the Rays scored twice. So we go to the bottom of the 9th. It's the Rays now leading 5-4. Bottom of the ninth. Notes on the wild card contenders. You see the Rays at the bottom, but the amount of games against teams with 500 or better records and the home and road splits. So you see the Rays, they got 22 more home games, 17 more road games, 25 games against the teams with better than 500 records. And the Rangers with lots of home games as well. So sometimes that makes a difference, sometimes it doesn't. So here's the changes. Tim Beckham is in the game at second. Forsythe moves from second to first. So Geyer in right, Beckham at second, Forsythe at first. And Colomé, first pitch to Fegley is hit high in the air, shallow left field. Cabrera waits. He's got it. One pitch, one out.
And Ryan Anderson on the TV side for the Rays talked about Colomé, and we saw him as a starter back in May. But you put him in the category of Wade Davis, a great setup man in Kansas City. And if that's the case, the kid's pretty good, because Wade Davis, one of the best setup with the Royals, although he has given up a couple of home runs this year, which is shocking. Colomé has good stuff and might be one that out of the pen is excellent. And Hayes pretty much leading the whole game, and now trailed by a run.
First pitch to Sogard, close but a bit outside. Sogard has walked twice and grounded out. Nine consecutive A's hitters have been retired, and that stretch started right after the Fegley home run.
Sogard, a good idea, taking a strike. You need a base runner to try to get the position at least tight.
It is rally cap time. Sogard, 2 walks and a ground out as he waits the 2-1 pitch from Colomé, and now it's 2-2. Colomé has pretty nasty stuff.
Well, he just showed it there on a 2-1. Sogard looking more for a 4-seam and got a little cutter.
Pitching from the stretch. 2-2 is that fastball at 94, but outside. Full count with Semien to follow. After Semien, it would be Burns. Pitch is popped up, foul territory, but room for Longoria, and that's the second out. So Sogard retired, and now it's up to Semien to do what he's got to do to get on base.
Now batting shortstop, number 10, Marcus Semien.
Semien tonight has hit a fly ball to right. He has struck out, and he has grounded to third.
The A's have been good about trailing and at least getting a runner on base and not going quiet. They're down to the last out to try to at least keep it going.
First pitch in for a strike. So an inning and 2/3 of impressive work so far for Colomé. He's got a chance to get the win. That hard slider at 89 miles an hour, and now it's 0-2.
When right as it approaches the plate, takes off outside. See the spin, and missed it by about 6 inches.
The 2 pitch, tried it again. That one flattened out a little bit, and the count is 1-2. Semien with 10 home runs on the year. Outfield is deep. Straightaway infield has 3 infielders on the left side. That Curveball hit to left, shallow. Jennings hustling in. Jennings is going to get there, and that's the ball game. So the A's were 3 outs away from what would have been Sonny Gray's win, but the bullpen cannot shut the door. So a very disappointing loss tonight for the Athletics, as the Rays have taken the first 2 games of this series. 2 hours and 37 minutes. And the attendance tonight, it was a sellout, 35,067. And the Rays, another 1-run win over the A's tonight. 5-4 is your final. You've been watching A's baseball on CSN California, part of the NBC Sports Group. Don't go away. A's postgame live with Chris Townsend and Shooty Babbitt starts right now.
Hey, Cabbie. Nice job.